Hey, thanks so much for letting me get ready here. I have like no time anymore between the show and work and dating. How do I look?
Great.
Great.
What does she look like?
Oh, she's gorgeous. Here.
She is very beautiful.
Right?
That is a very professional photo. Professionally photographed photo.
Yeah, well, good lighting and yeah, it's gonna be great. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I'm so stoked.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. Have fun.
Thanks, I'll see you later.
Didn't look like her picture.
Didn't look like her pictures.
Was it a monkey and a wig?
It was a monkey in a wig again.
Welcome to another episode of If I Could Churn Back Time. Today's guest is very important to me. She is one of my best friends. She's visiting from out of town, and I stole her away for the day. So we are post-brunch and booze, and now we're going to shoot the show. Amanda, thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you.
What
Of
kind of ice cream are we going to make today?
We are making mint chocolate chip ice cream because it is my absolute favorite, and I prefer the green one.
Right.
And if you don't like the green one, you're a psychopath.
Wait, what's the other option?
White.
They have white?
I've never seen that before.
Thank you.
Hey, that seems lazy.
Wait, why would you do that if it's mint?
It's just thank you.
Is it white chocolate too?
No, it's just like white ice cream.
Like a white pizza?
It's like a dragon fruit in ice cream form is what I'm picturing.
Psychopaths.
I don't like that.
Exactly.
Well, we are going to do green ice cream and show you how easy it is to add coloring to your ice creams.
Cool.
Are you ready to just dive right into this? Can we just like make some ice cream?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right.
Okay. Step one.
Oh, we should point out, we're not just pulling this recipe out of the thin air. Today, we are using Hello, My Name is Ice Cream's Garden Mint Ice Cream recipe to get this guy going.
All right. Garden mint.
Our first two ingredients are milk powder and sugar. We've got 3 tablespoons of the milk powder and 3/4 cup of the sugar, and we're gonna mix them together.
All right. I need a fork to just
Excellent.
juice.
Yeah.
Can you let me juice?
Okay.
Next, we're gonna take 2 cups of milk, 2 cups of heavy whipping cream, and 1/4 cup of corn syrup. Mix them all together in a pot and bring them to a rolling boil.
It's hard to interview you because I know
Is
so
it?
much about you.
So it's like weird to be like, what's good?
I don't know anything about Amanda.
Really?
Nothing.
Okay. All right. So let me.
Yeah, give me the basics. Where did you grow up?
Yeah.
So my name's Amanda.
Okay.
And I grew up in the Chicagoland area in Schaumburg. Been in Schaumburg like my whole life, Chicago, Schaumburg, Illinois kind of thing.
Yeah.
And recently, maybe like 2.5 years ago, moved out to San Francisco for work. And that is a city.
Yep.
It is a city.
Yeah.
And that's where I live now.
And you're gonna come home.
And I am going to come back after I'm done with my training. You know, it's a city.
Yeah.
What is it missing that Chicago has?
It's very dirty. Also, Aisha. But yeah, I don't know. I think for some people it probably fits a lot better. But coming from Chicago, where there's a lot more restaurant choices, the theater is more developed. It's clean. Less homeless population. It's just, and it's cheaper to live in Chicago, so I just can't really justify there when I could not.
I feel like you have a better quality of life in Chicago than you
Yeah.
do in San Francisco.
And also, Chicago's on a grid system, which sounds like something odd to be very particular about, but
It's not. I've gotten
it's not, and it's very important that your city's on a grid system.
Yeah.
Because if it's not, you don't know how to get around.
Right.
Public transit doesn't make any sense,
Yeah.
and it's just a wasteful thing.
Especially if you grew up in a city with a grid system, then it's very challenging. Every time I've been in Paris, I never know which side of the river I'm on. It's very bad.
Yep. So not for me, but I can see why people like it. But I don't.
Have you been to the ice cream museum?
I have been to the ice cream museum.
Can you talk about it a little bit? Because I haven't been there because it's too expensive.
It is very expensive.
Why is it so expensive?
Because it's San Francisco.
Like the entrance fee?
Yeah.
It's like $60 or something.
To get into a museum?
Yeah. It looks like one of those places that is just kind of a bunch of Instagram backgrounds, and then you get an ice cream cone at the end. That's what I got from it.
It's like 7 Instagram backgrounds, and then they have this thing where you can like fall into sprinkles, which, if you've ever heard of like ball pits, seems disgusting.
Now it does.
Exactly, but people really love to do that, and they like to do the boomerang ones where you're like falling because then there's spray. So it's very good for Instagram. It's good for nothing else. It's not particularly fun. The ice cream you get at the end is not that great. So
skip that.
Yeah, skip that. If you want ice cream in San Francisco, Mr. and Mrs. Miscellaneous or Salt and Straw. The last time, like when I was first thinking about leaving the city, was like when I was applying to med school, actually.
You thought about leaving Chicago for medical school?
And I thought about going to New York or to California again. And I was thinking about applying to like California schools.
Northern or Southern or both?
Southern.
Okay.
Because the person I was with at the time was actually moving there.
So you were going to follow him and choose your med school based on him?
That's right.
You did not do that.
I did not. We were very close to being married, actually. And I was 21 when I graduated from college. And I was in the midst of, applying to med school. It's like a year-long process to apply to med school. So you like start in the summer and then like you get in that next summer. And we were like talking about ring shopping close to getting married. And he was moving to LA for work. And he wanted me to come with. And
I'm going to pause your story right there because we're not ready for the next step.
Awesome.
Which is going to be, now we're going to add in sugar and the milk powder.
Okay.
To the
bowl?
To the pot over here.
That's what I mean. Okay.
Whisk it in.
Do you want to trim
it back up.
Oh, we heat it back up. Okay.
Okay. Just pour it in?
Yep.
Okay.
Now that we have the dry stuff and with the wet stuff, we're going to boil that for another 2 minutes, let it all incorporate really nicely, and then we're going to take our mint and add it to it to infuse a really fresh mint flavor. Now typically the mint ice cream you get in an ice cream store uses a syrup sort of sweetener, so you get a lot of menthol in there. The same stuff that's in like your Juul pods or your cigarettes. It's delicious, yeah. We're going to go with a little bit of a fresher take on this, because I feel like one of the rites of passage too, with becoming an adult and making your own decisions, is everyone goes to that stage where they have to have an herb garden. They try it in their kitchen, on their back porch, usually the last couple weeks, blah, blah. Mint, however, is one of the easiest things to grow, and so you've got a mint plant on your herb garden that's just like growing out of control. Grab a handful, and that's actually what it specifies in the book. Grab a handful, chop it up, and then just throw it in. Good stuff?
Good stuff.
All right, so 2 minutes on the stove, then we'll add our mint, and we're going to let that steep for about a half hour. All right, now that it's all cooked together, we'll add in our mint. So before we moved over to the stove and moved down with the recipe, young Amanda was about to throw away her future for a fella.
All right, I was about to throw away. But yeah, I was focusing a lot on applying to like LA kind of med schools. And what was interesting is that I hadn't even really told my mom about that. And that's unheard of for me. My mom and I are super close. And so I think that was probably the first little signal in my brain that this was not the path to go down.
Yeah.
But I was 21. I loved him. And, if someone is talking about marrying you, that's hard to be nah. It's kind kind of like a hard thing to say, especially if that's someone that you love.
Yeah. It's hard to not take that person into consideration in your life decisions.
Exactly. And I think about that a lot. Like, what would it have been like if I said yes?
Like your sliding doors moment?
Yeah. Like if I had said yes and I had gotten into med school in LA and I moved to LA and was married at 21, which is insane to me. Yeah. And so, but I think about that, like when I see like other friends that are like engaged or they're getting married, and I'm like, oh, I wonder what life would have been like if I had chosen that path. But the thing is, I don't think that I chose wrong.
I agree.
Yeah, I just 21 is a really young age, and that's a really young for me and who I am as a person to be like, this is who I'm gonna be with forever.
Yeah.
21, that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
That's like,
you don't even know which vodka you like.
You don't even know which vodka you like, because all you've been having is that plastic bottle Burnett's in college that you were like, oh yeah, here I go. I don't have hangovers. And now, like,
okay.
Girl, do not talk to me about Absolute. I still get when I see Absolute. Stressful memories. And so, you know, it's just like a weird time. And like, I couldn't see myself, you know, taking on something like medical school while being a wife and what that entails and what does that even entail, because I'd been in school my whole life, and the school that I had just finished, I just spent a whole senior year partying.
Yeah.
Like, but now I'm supposed to like be a wife and like, I don't know, have dinner ready, or like, I don't know, or like be like, oh, hello, I'll take your coat, husband. I don't know.
Which is really sad, right? Because like, there's also the possibility that you would marry somebody that would take a lot of those burdens off of you, like the things that you struggle with in med school. Like, I've got that partner, but no one thinks like that because nobody does it.
Nobody does it.
I've heard.
It would just be like weird, and like I recognized that I was way too young to undertake that responsibility, because I think that if you're ready for marriage, you're ready for a totally different type of responsibility.
Yeah.
A responsibility to a person, and perhaps the life that you'll create together and other lives that you'll create together. And that's huge. That's a huge responsibility.
Yeah.
And I still wanted to drink plastic bottle vodka. So, you know, it just I wasn't in a place. No, I'm grown. I drink wine now. But yeah, you know, it just wasn't in the place for it. And so I told him no. And we ended up not getting engaged. He moved like...
Did he propose to you?
He told me we should go ring shopping.
And you said
no. I said no.
Okay.
I wasn't in the place to do that. I wasn't interested in doing that. I had no plans to do that for the next 4 years.
Good.
And he was upset, which I think is fair.
Yes.
I wouldn't expect anyone to be like, all right, lit. Like, you know, after that. And he moved, we broke up, and he moved like that next weekend to LA. And I actually never spoke to him. It was like a light switch. It was off.
Yeah, I've had endings like that.
Yeah. And it's a little jarring, you know, when it's like 2 days ago you were talking about marrying me, and now
I don't know you anymore.
I don't know anything about you. I don't know where you moved to. Yeah. I didn't really find out when he'd moved until like a little bit later, when someone's like, oh, he moved, and I was like, okay. So yeah, it's weird to talk about it now, because I'm so sure that I made the right decision.
Yeah.
And it's weird to feel that way, even while sometimes wondering like what could have been.
Well, how long did that take? Did you spend a lot of time thinking, man, I should have, just to see?
Yeah. I think like that first year of medical school, I spent a lot of time thinking about that.
Did you ever like regret it?
I don't know if regret is the right word. I don't think so. I would say no.
Okay, good.
No, I don't think I ever regretted that decision.
You just wondered?
I just wondered.
Yeah.
And the reason why I didn't regret it is because, I loved medical school. I had the exact time that I wanted to have in medical school. It was awesome. I met some of the most incredible people. And like some like lasting friendships, like people that I still talk to today that have like relocated.
down the street, yeah.
Lives down the street. She's one of my closest friends, like, that I met in med school and, like, had the most incredible times. And I got to do what I love to do in the city that I love to be in. So how, like, it's hard to regret something when, like, everything
exactly
about that
wanted,
was
yeah.
exactly what I wanted and all of it was positive.
Yeah.
But, you know, you wonder, because it's like, that's like a pivotal moment. Like, what, like a pivotal, like, decision. I'm either going this way or this way.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you just wonder what would have happened if you went the other way down the fork in the road.
And sometimes you don't know until way later what you could have done. Because I revisited, actually, what I talked about in my episode. I was talking about, like, my marriage and everything, and I was thinking about it, and I played it out in my head.
Yeah.
And how it would have ended even if it didn't end then. And it made so much sense. So sometimes it takes time to be able to, like, come full circle emotionally from that.
Yeah.
But you do get to a point where you realize you can, like, envision what would have happened.
Yeah. I think knowing, especially what I know now, just about, like, what I want for where I want to live, I would have been resentful if I had gone there. Because it would have been something that I felt like I didn't choose for me.
And plus your home is here.
And my home is here.
Yeah.
My whole family is here.
Yeah. Which is really important.
Yeah. And when I think about, like, the people that I would have missed out on, no way. It helps to be in a place that you know you want to be in or that you know you like.
Yeah.
Especially going through something like medical school, which can be
difficult,
terrible and awful. Even when you like it, it can be, like, terrible and awful.
Mm-hmm.
And so...
And residency is the same way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Residency is even more that.
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine? Like, I could, yeah. I just think that I would have been resentful if I had gone down that path.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm glad I did it.
Yeah.
I still wonder. Still think about it. Sometimes.
Yeah. You think you'd still be with him if you married him?
No, I don't. I think that what I remember about him and who I am as a person now would not mesh. And I really like who I am.
So do I.
Me too. So yeah, it would be. I don't think so. I don't think we would have. And then that's a whole other thing, like going through a divorce in the midst of residency, which is grueling and depressing and terrible, in the midst of a pandemic, which is grueling and depressing and terrible.
Yeah.
Even when it's good.
Again, marriage doesn't have to end in divorce, but that seems to be the conclusion that everyone draws from it too. I'm going to marry someone that's not going to support me and divorce them at the worst possible time in my life.
Right.
And then it happens.
Exactly.
It happens.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And to me, if you're thinking
that's
that,
what happened to me.
That's not who you should be marrying.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you shouldn't be marrying someone where you're like, well, what if this happens and then we end up in divorce? It should be, I'm marrying the love of my life. We're going to be together forever. Hard stop.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I wouldn't say hard stop. Also, no matter what happens, we will get through it together. That's kind of like the key.
Yeah.
Is to be on the same team, which is very difficult to accomplish, I think, these days.
Yeah. But I think that if you're not thinking that about your partner, then that's not who you should be marrying. If you're thinking about, well, this is going to happen and then we're going to get divorced.
Or, is this going to be the rest of my life?
Exactly.
We've
talked about that.
Yeah. So bad.
So yeah, it's just, I think I definitely made the right decision.
I do too.
Yeah.
Well, perfect timing, because I think we're just about ready to strain the mint out of our milk.
Ooh.
Okay, so we just strain this into the bowl?
Yep.
Okay.
It's going to take all your mint chunks out of there. Well, most of them. There's still going to be some
little ones, yeah. But that's how you know it's homemade and made with care.
That's right. We're going to do something new this time, guys. It involves a blender. So in the past, we've just kind of added in our stabilizer, willy-nilly, wherever it goes in the recipe.
Yeah.
And apparently, if you really want it to get incorporated, you blend it. Gets it all in there. So we're going to try that. So we've got a 1/4 teaspoon of our guar gum. We're going to add that to our base. And then we're going to blend it. And while it's in the blender, just to save ourselves some mixing time, we've got a 1/4 teaspoon of peppermint oil that we're going to add in too. Alright, so here's what we're going to do to get this thing colored. We're going to put it into the churner, Churn is going to be mixing it for us as it goes, and we'll add in the color drops and see if we get like a good green, right?
Cool. Let's do it.
And then add a bunch of yellow. But seriously, just one drop of blue.
Just one. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I put one on a blade.
That's okay. Guys, look at this color. How pretty is that? Is this what you were going for?
Exactly what I was going for. Yeah. This is the perfect green.
So the mint ice cream is good to go. We're all set there. We just gotta add in our chocolate chips. Recipe book says 1/4 of a cup. I've made ice cream with Aisha before, and I know we're gonna do as much as we can possibly fit in there. So this is 3/4 of a cup.
That's right.
Of chocolate chips that we're gonna use.
All the chips.
So now we're just gonna put this in the containers, freeze it, and then we'll be able to try it. Does it smell good?
Yeah. It smells minty.
Oh, it does smell minty, and it smells like
legit mint chocolate chip ice cream.
Yeah.
I know. I'm so excited.
Okay, let's try it.
All right. Yeah.
No,
Yep.
minty.
This is it. This is the flavor.
Wow, that's like real mint and chocolate
Mm-hmm.
in ice cream form.
And you can kind of taste, now that you've seen both mints go in there, you kind of taste the different flavor profiles too.
And actually, I kind of understand like
Why
what you were talking about earlier with like the menthol flavor of mint chocolate chip, but this is very clearly like a mint flavor.
Right.
I kind of like this a little bit better actually.
It's so good. And you're right, the color makes all the difference. Psychologically,
difference,
it like
right?
locks in that mint. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're like, ah.
If it was like just white,
It'd be different.
it was so upsetting.
Because you'd be like, why is this not vanilla? Why is this mint?
It's like when you do that game where you have like a red square and it says like blue, and you're supposed to read blue instead of red. I feel like that's some kind of emotional torture.
And our minds have done enough work this year. Let's make ice cream eating easy.
Let's.
Yeah, mint is green.
How do you guys feel about the amount of chocolate chips that we put in here?
I love it.
Excellent.
Perfect.
I feel like we're getting some
Perfect
every
amount.
bite.
And that's what's important because I don't like it when they're skimpy on the chocolate chips either. Has to be in every bite.
Can't be too much though.
This is a perfect amount.
Well, if you liked this recipe, and you like to watch us make fools of ourselves, please follow us on Instagram to watch our bloopers. And as usual, follow us on YouTube to watch the full video for how we make the ice cream and we interview our guests. And they're usually people in my life, so you're learning way too much about me. But that's, I think that's it for us. How do you feel? Refresh.
I'm just saying that it doesn't make sense.
It makes plenty of sense.
It doesn't though.
It does.
In what way?
Because if you say that you want a thing and then you decide you don't want the thing, it's just, I feel like it's really inconsistent.
But how is it inconsistent when it's been like years? So things just changed.
I disagree.
How?
I'm ready.
You ready? Let's do it. Don't sigh at me.